Hello fellow YouTubers and Yamaha Jet Boat owners. My name's Chuck. My first YouTube video attempt. The purpose of doing it is to help guys like me remove a debris blockage from the 2019-2020 jet boats, because they redesigned them and things are different. So I couldn't find a YouTube video that addressed this exact boat after being redesigned. So I took it all apart and found some things out that I didn't need to do, and I wanted to show you guys how simple it is, and just describe some, not shortcuts, probably how Yamaha designed it, but I'm too cheap to go out and buy a tear down manual, something like that for it. So I took it apart. Now it's mostly all back together, and then I'm going to show you what I learned. Most important thing is there's a lot of stuff you don't have to take off. So tools, probably the two most important things are you're going to need about 15 inches of a 3/8 drive extension. This is a 10, that's 5. That's really important. 6mm hex head socket, because the first and most important thing to make the whole job easier, you come over here, there's a plate on the bottom of the boat right here, and that plate, to me it looks like a skid plate, but it also holds the steering rudder and then attaches the rudder to the jet thrust nozzle in the back. So the main reason we need to take this off is so we can pull this whole jet drive unit come straight out, which I didn't know. I took part of this off and that off, and so you can see I just dropped these 4 bolts. You don't even have to take them all the way out. So there's 4 bolts under here. Dropped it. I got about 1 inch of gap. So this thing is now dropped. The plate's dropped low enough that I can just pull the drive straight out. So really pretty simple. This is your linkage up here that lifts the forward and reverse bucket. All you need is a 10mm socket or wrench. Just beware that there's little bushings or spacers that you don't want to lose. So I put them back on, but basically that molds right to there. Then on the other side, you have your steering linkage. I already took it off. 11mm bolt and socket or nut. It comes apart. There's a little bushing. Everybody should know about nylon bushing. Just don't lose those. Take them off, put them back. Bolts right to here. Found out I don't need to take anything else off. Don't have to take this off. This is a 17mm bolt that attaches the rudder to the back of the drive unit. Found out, although I loosened it, you don't even need to take that off, because when you drop the plate, this comes apart. So now all it comes down to is 5 bolts. 4 14mm, 1 there, 1 here, and 2 matching on the bottom. As long as you have a 15 or 14mm socket and 15 inches of extension, you get to, there's the 3rd one, the 4th one's on the other side. And then there's 1 small 10mm bolt right there. So all we got to do is take those off, pull it straight out. And while we're up close, you just might need one of these, a pry bar. If you get all the nuts and bolts off, it still might be stuck. There's two flanges for whatever reason. Yamaha's made it so you can get back here with a pry bar, pry top and bottom, left and right. It'll start to pop. So now if we did it all right, all we should have to do is try to pull it out. Oh, gotta take the bolts out first. 14mm. The 10mm. Don't have to take these 14mm off here. Just start to pull. Then I realized if you're lucky, you can pull it part of the way, 1 inch or 2 out, and then you can just reach behind here and you can actually feel the impeller. I'm feeling the impeller, the blades of the impeller. So if you get lucky and it's maybe something you can just pull out, then all you have to do is push all this back together. If not, you just keep pulling. Rotate a little bit, the whole thing comes out. Like I said, you don't have to take any of this apart. The nozzle, you don't have to take these 14mm bolts apart here. Nothing else. Whole thing comes out. There's your impeller. Obstructions would be there. This was my problem. You can see where it just kind of fit right there. Found a home. Was causing me vibration problems. Ended my day. Now I know I can put the boat on the trailer if I don't want to go home, and with a few tools take it apart. So now I'm just going to slide it back in. I'm not going to silicone it. Some people silicone these mating flanges every time. I don't think it's necessary. I think this is something that Yamaha designed so you can do this when you're out boating. You suck something up, all you need to have is these tools and you can do the job. So all it really matters, and you really can't realign it wrong because this 10mm bolt allows you, it's obvious that this has to be ending up on the left side of the boat when you put it in. So I'm gonna try to put it in. Hopefully it all lines up. It is really easy. It's just a matter of when you push it in, you have to align the spline on the drive shaft with the splines on the engine, and you can just rotate it a little bit with your hand as it goes in. It's most of the way in. Now I just need to get in far enough and the slime lined up. You'll know when it lines up because then you can just push everything straight in. Let's try it again. Move the spline a little. There we go. That's the hard part. Just put the 4 14mm bolts back in there. The one 10mm bolt back there. The one on the bottom. Tighten those 4 bolts down. There's torque specs, but it seems like most people just do what's reasonable. Use the 3/8 drive ratchet. Don't over torque them. The 4 14mm, the 110. Then you lift the plate. As you lift the plate, line up this steering rudder linkage with it, so that's all straight. Retighten it with your hex head, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hook top linkage, throttle linkage up here. 10mm tools, the other side the steering linkage, 11mm nuts and bolts, and you're done. So my mistakes were I didn't know if I could just take it straight out from here, which I can. All you have to do is take this plate off the bottom first, or drop it enough to where you can, these 5 bolts, linkages are off, pull the thing straight out, put the debris out, take it out, push it back in. So I hope it did you some good. I'm thankful for the guys ahead of me that have helped me a lot with these kind of projects as well as other projects, and wanted to do one myself. Chuck out.